of September 2023, and it is a Monday. Hello, good morning, and many thanks indeed for joining us here on Morning Prime. My name is Dibala now. I trust that you had a lovely restorative weekend and you're ready for the new week. Of course, we shall be following what is happening with the political landscape in our country. With the Talking Nation, we have the bipartisan talks that is being led by the NATI continuing apace this week. And of course, we'll have also the Law Society of Kenya presenting the memorandum today, and 10 other organizations as well to the National Dialogue Committee. We shall be putting tales of those stories for you today. Also, President William Ruto will today be launching the county health promoters. 100,000 of them will be, of course, launched at Uhuru Park today. And this is all in a bid to check into place the universal healthcare. And so we shall also be putting our tales on that story as well. A lot of we have to talk about, and the latest being that particular legislation that is being steamrolled, or a narrative, I should say, so far by the senator, that is Senator Cherugei of Nandi, who is hinting at an extension of the presidential term limit by 2 years for President Ruto to actually be in power for 7 good years. This is not the first time we've heard about the presidential term limit in this country, and we shall be looking at that. Where is it coming from? According to other political operators, this is what is actually under wraps as far as Kenya Kwanza is concerned. This is what they're mulling over, and maybe right now they're putting it out to test the waters as far as this extension of his term is concerned. And the question will be again, is it just to test also the popularity of President William Ruto in light of the cost of living, if he's still a favorite of many Kenyans, as it were? We shall be looking at that with our panelists this morning. I'm joined by Dr. James Chikalo, who is a member of parliament from Seme. Also, I'll be joined by Dr. Makali Mulu, who is a member of parliament from Kitui Central, and we'll be joined as well by Wilson Sossion, who is a politician. The senators are away in Turkana, where they shall be having their first, of course, sittings in the counties, as you say. This is after the COVID-19 pandemic also stalled that particular process, and right now all of them are in Turkana, so they will not be in town. I doubt if tomorrow we'll be hosting also some of the senators as well. Senator Hilary Segei, who's normally here on Monday, is away as well. All right, let's see what is fresh off the press this morning, beginning with the bold paper. And it's all about that story that I'm saying that is very contentious right now. Ruto term limit. Jitters of a push for extra years is what is a splash this morning on the front page of the Standard today. Nandi Senator Samson Cherugei has submitted a memorandum to the bipartisan talks team to increase presidential term limit to 7 years, but lawyers and politicians are having none of that, asking the team to ignore the request, but others see hidden hand in the drive. And this is what he had to say. This enables the president to have good opportunity to form and establish a formidable team to deliver his manifesto. Besides, the presidential election is always highly profiled as a result of it being conducted within a short period of time. And you have the story well tucked away on page 4 of the Standard this morning. Ruto term limit, jitters over push for extra years, 2 years on top of 5 is what the memorandum is talking about. And as I've mentioned, the resumption of it is today, and this will be one of the memorandum that will be presented to the bipartisan talks. Will it fly? We're yet to see. On the sidebar, Elliot the Fifth is on a winning trot so far to speak. Or we can see he actually won by 31 seconds, the 5th fastest time of his illustrious career. That story continues inside the Standard this morning. Of course, we shall give you all the gritty details in our news bulletin as well, to just congratulate Eliud Kipchoge, making us proud. Inside, also you have Gachagua meeting to trim Kuria to size. Inside, you have Gachagua meeting to trim Kuria to size, and that particular banning of words has been going on between him, that is a deputy president, and the Minister of Trade and Investment, Moses Kuria, and you can read all about it on page 8 of the Standard this morning. Remember, every Monday you have Health and Science magazine coming your way. What it's like aging with HIV. You can read all about it inside the Health and Science Bullet magazine. It has been, of course, a milestone for the country and the entire world in fighting and combating HIV. Right now, it is not as severe as it used to be because of breakthroughs that we've had also with medication. And you can read all about it inside the Standard this morning. Fees windfall for private universities is a splash on the front page of the Daily Nation. Education, some students who had been placed in courses in public universities have not reported. And this is a boon for the private universities. Private universities have reported a high demand for admissions as students shun public ones following the adoption of the new funding model that many perceive as expensive, especially because of a loan component. And the development is a huge relief for the private institutions that have experienced low intakes since 2016. And you have the story on page 7 of the Daily Nation. King Kipchoge does it again. Eliud Kipchoge crosses the finish line to secure his 5th victory in the men's race at yesterday's Berlin Marathon in Germany. His compatriot Vincent Kipkemboi was second. In the women's race, Ethiopia's Tigist Assefa wrote the record books, shaving 2 minutes off the previous world record set by Kenya's Bridget Kosgei in 2019, and Kenya's Sheila Chepkirui was a distant second in the race. All that is tucked away inside today's Daily Nation. On the sidebar, there's an interview there with Haminwa, and he's talking about his 53 years in legal practice and why he doesn't own a smartphone. You can follow the story on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. Privatization, why state is leasing out some Mombasa and Lamu port assets. Lack of adequate funds has forced the government to backtrack on its earlier opposition to the privatization of key infrastructure at the ports of Mombasa and Lamu. And this story continues on page 10 of the Daily Nation. Proposal to amend presidential term limit sparks outrage. A proposal by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei to amend presidential term limit has drawn sharp reactions, with critics saying it could be a ploy to introduce presidents for lives in the near future. And you have the story on page 6 of the Daily Nation. El Nino. Kenyans remember 1997 as they prepare for deluge, one of the unhappy pages in the country's history books. Is the impact of a 10-month rainy season that hit Kenyans in 1997. When the rains began in May that year, some people imagined they would subside in a matter of days or weeks, but they lasted until February 1998. The country's meteorological department had announced an impending El Nino, which will result in above average rainfall in the country. And you have the story on page 2 and 3 of the Daily Nation this morning. So ill preparation is also what the state or some of the state actors are talking about. How prepared are we? Questions really abound regarding how or the preparedness of El Nino as a country. That is the story that you want to follow inside the Daily Nation this morning. Let's see what we have on the front page of the Star. Chorus of outrage greets term limit talk. That is the splash today, hogging the front page of the Star this morning. Amendment, if adopted, will mean President serves for 14 years if re-elected. LSK boss theory dismissed Cherargei's proposal and instead suggested a single 7-year limit. And you have the story on page 4 and 5 of the Star this morning. And marvelous Kipchoge makes Kenyans proud again. You can see his unflappable smile there. Greatest of all, Eliud Kipchoge celebrating after winning the Berlin Marathon 2023 in Berlin, Germany yesterday. This story continues inside the Star this morning. On the sidebar, cops search Kibera for teen suspect in murder of hospital finance director. Detectives are combing through swaths of Kibera slums in the hunt for a teenager suspected to be behind the murder of Nairobi hospital finance boss Eric Maigo. The team trusts friends and relatives of the girl believed to be between 15 and 17 years old, as they tried to piece together her background. You can follow the story on page 2 of the Star this morning. Senators also to probe cases of drug revelers in clubs, and this is being steamrolled by Esther Okenyuri, who called for probe wants lawmakers to investigate drugging of unsuspecting revelers by the would-be lovers in places of entertainment. You have the story on page 6 of the Star this morning. And here is our face, how lady with Kalonzo's hairstyle is climbing up the political ladder. You can read all about her. She's the one who's asking or wanting to probe cases of dragging revelers in clubs. Watu ambao wanaekea mchele wakijivinjari. That is the story that you want to follow inside the Star, I should say, this morning. And you can read all about it on page 2. People Daily, corruption. MPs join water wars. Is a splash here. House team summons sector leaders as wrangle rocks the Ministry of Water under CS Wahome. Committee has directed all persons mentioned in the scandal to appear before it starting Thursday this week. Will heads roll? That is the abiding question. And you have the story on page 4 of the People Daily this morning. And also on the side, but governors face wrath of MCS. Mwangaza targeted by Meru leaders as Nyamira ward reps differ on whether to impeach Nyaribo. That is the story to follow. Mwangaza is back again in the spotlight with MCAs, and you can read all about the story, why they are gagging for her impeachment, I should say. And also Kenya's cash pile declines over debt. That story continues on page 13 of the People Daily this morning. Kipchoge's star shines bright at Berlin race. And the story is on page 4 and 28, and also on the back page of the People Daily this morning. Nyumba ya kelele, that is Taifa Leo. Nyumba ya kelele. Hali si shwari tena katika serikali ya Kenya Kwanza inayokumbwa na migogoro kona zote na wasi wa ndani, mizozo. Rais ana kibarua kigumu cha kurejesha utulivu ndani ya chama cha UDA, muungano wake wa Kwanza na serikalini. You can follow the story on page 2 of the Taifa Leo this morning, and some of the faces or some of the spets that are going on between Cleopas Balala, Katibu UDA, also Speaker Moses Wetangula seeking to foil the party. Gachagua and also Moses Kuria have been banning words, as I've mentioned earlier as well. Gladys Bostrule, Naibu Speaker, Waziri Ababu Namwamba, and others as well. You can read all about it inside Taifa Leo today. Liverpool wapa sare kwa Arsenal. You can read all about it. Eludatia Fora Berlin mara ya tano. That is the story that you want to follow inside the Taifa Leo this morning. Also, vyoo vya umma vya susiwa. That is how Taifa Leo looks this morning. I will be showing you what we have on the front page of the Business Daily, and also other dailies and publications around us. Looking at the Daily Monitor in Uganda, also the Citizen in Tanzania, the New Times in Rwanda, the East African this week, the fourth now, we can know, and he's been very categorical. The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, will be seeking his fourth term. Remember, he had said, or he had hinted that on resigning from politics and also taking journalism as his retiring career. What really changed? Right. That is up Taifa Leo this morning. Allow me to just hear from our guest already here in studio, Apanadi. We're joined this morning by Dr. Makali Muli, who is the Member of Parliament, Kitui Central. Also, we're joined by Wilson Susion, a politician. And also, we're joined this morning by Dr. James Jikal, who is Member of Parliament, Seme. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Coming through the dailies of course, get the updates as well. Very important so that we can actually be teasing out some of the matters that are raised in the dailies as well. But I want just to give you or extend a hearty welcome to all of you. Thank you. It's a new week. Last week of September. We haven't seen Dr. Nyikal for a while. At least we were with Dr. Makali and Wilson Susion. You were in Mombasa. What was happening in Mombasa?
Well, we were in health committee meeting.
Health committee.
We had a bill on social health insurance
The social health insurance fund.
Digital health bill. I think those two. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what kept us busy in Mombasa.
So what really transpired as far as those bills are concerned?
Well,
or this is a report of a committee, you don't want to speak on it right now? You can give us the highlights.
Well, the highlight is basically we are transforming the social health insurance act. And they place the things we like or things we don't like about them. So that will appear in the committee. And the digital health bill is basically forming a digital agency, getting a framework for digital health data, and the use of that data, the privacy that is required, and transfer and referral of health data. It's important. I think these are important issues. That one, I think, is a new area that is interesting.
Right. You yourself, you had some scruples with the social health insurance fund, bit of it, the 3 prongs of the insurance funds. Were you able now to discuss and broach this issue?
They really don't come. In that respect, I don't like the bill much.
Okay.
But that's something we'll talk about. Because basically they are not really different funds. They are under the same board. They are basically, like you would say, they are all same fund doing different functions, different sources put together. Basically, that's what it is. And one is the social health is contributory, and the primary health care fund, critical care and emergency and chronic illness fund, both are basically funded from the taxes. Yes, so that's what it is.
Was that discussed?
What is important is...
Was it discussed?
Yeah, they were discussed.
And what was the resolution?
There are things I don't like. We'll come to Parliament, our committee will come there. And the areas like the digital health bill, I actually generally think is something we need in the country, because there's a lot of data that is being transferred digitally, a lot of health information that's being stored digitally. There are a lot of health services, health procedures that can be done using these communications, and therefore it's important to have a legal framework. That I didn't have scruples with a lot. Social health insurance, I have a lot of scruples about them. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and the management of it, there are parts I don't like.
Okay. Yeah. And still on health matters, before we go to the